love having you.
We do. We sincerely do.
Yes.
It's not something that we just say lightly.
No. It's a joy to know that people come and want to listen to us talk.
Yeah.
I mean, learn from us, right?
Well, and let's be real. Things are really hard for a lot of people these days. And the fact that people are really, buying our books and, subscribing to audio 어학당 to learn English is a real privilege for us. We're very honored.
People are supporting our show and other shows here on EBS. So we hope that we can continue to provide the show and the education materials that you all want to receive.
And also entertainment.
Yes.
Okay, we got to make it fun. Okay, so today is a daily life dialogue, and we're talking about getting a visa. And there are different types of visas, but we're not talking about the tourist visa, but kind of a residency visa.
Yes.
And if you say you've narrowed down your choice, narrow, but actually here used as a verb.
Yes.
Narrowed down your choice. What are you doing if you narrow down your choice?
You're decreasing the number of choices. You're reducing the number of possibilities. Maybe you had 50 choices, and you got it down to 3 choices.
Yes. Okay, good. Now, if something is up and coming, it's actually one word, but it's separated, it's put together with hyphen. So it's up hyphen and hyphen coming. Up and coming, which is an adjective.
It is used to describe something that looks like it's going to be successful or it's going to be famous or popular.
Okay.
It's not popular yet.
Not yet.
But it looks like it's going to be.
Okay, it's like in the future,
Yes.
I see it coming. Okay. Now, odd, ODD, often means kind of strange.
Yes.
But if you have an odd job, does that mean that it's a strange job too?
It might, but more often than not, we're just talking about those little small jobs. Not like a job you go to an office to do.
Okay.
Or a regular job, but those little small tasks that you have to do every once in a while.
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and listen to our dialogue.
Have you decided which visa to apply for?
Well, I've narrowed it down to the normal residence visa and the digital nomad visa.
I've never heard of the digital nomad visa. What is it?
It's an up-and-coming visa that a lot of countries are introducing to allow remote workers to stay longer. What visa are you here on?
I moved here when I was 55, so I've been here 5 years on a retirement visa.
I heard you're allowed to have odd jobs with the retirement visa.
Here we go. Marco says, have you decided which visa to apply for? Okay, so there are different kinds of visas, so he's like, which one,
Yes.
right? And Jasmine says, well, I've narrowed it down to the normal residence visa and the digital nomad visa. So there are a variety types of visas. So she narrowed it down to 2 things. A residence visa or digital nomad visa?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about, narrow something down.
So to narrow something down is very similar to the word to filter, where originally you have many different choices. Let's say you have 10 choices, 10 options.
Okay.
And then you look at them and you say, no, not this one. Oh, maybe this one. No. No. Maybe. And you take the 10 choices and you find, 2, 3, maybe 4 choices that are still okay.
Right.
You have not made your final decision, but you've decreased the number of options that you're looking at.
Yeah. So I think if you are given 10 choices, I think if you narrow it down, it could be 2 or 3, even 4, because it's 10.
Yes.
But if you're given 5 choices, it's probably 2.
Probably 2, maybe 3.
Just maybe 3.
But probably 2.
That's right.
And not 1.
Not one, because that's your choice.
That's your final decision.
Yeah, right.
If you can maybe narrow it down to one.
Yeah.
But then you would just say,
yeah.
I decided.
Right.
I made the final decision.
Right. So if you have 100 applicants for a job interview,
yes.
right? Then you kind of select the last 10. Mm-hmm. You can narrow it down to 10.
Yes.
So it's relative on how many choices you have. Okay. So digital nomad visa, and we talked about that last week. Marco, what does he say?
I've never heard of the digital nomad visa. What is it?
Yeah. Probably our listeners are saying the same thing. Huh? Digital nomad visa? I've never heard of it.
Yes.
Okay. Our pattern today is I've never heard of blah, blah, blah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So this is another way of saying this is the first time I'm hearing about something.
Yes.
It's another way of saying like, oh, that's new to me. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about it.
Yes.
Well, you aren't actually saying, tell me more about it. Mm-hmm. But that's the feeling you get with this. I've never heard of that. What is that?
What is that? I've never heard of it. Yeah. So it's not just like, I don't know, period. But it's more like, I don't know.
New
Tell
information.
Me. New information. Mm-hmm. Good. Jasmine says, it's an up-and-coming visa that a lot of countries are introducing to allow remote workers to stay longer. What visa are you here on? Okay, so since we have remote workers and people use this a lot more after the pandemic.
Yes.
The word remote means what?
So remote actually means far away from.
Yeah.
So we have the word remote controller.
Yes.
And it's controlling the TV far away from the TV. My grandparents had a TV. It did not have a remote controller. It had a twisty knob. You had to go up to beside it and twist it. And sometimes there was the antenna, the bunny ear antennas.
Cameron?
Yeah.
You're talking to an old person right here. When I was a young girl, they didn't have remote controls.
Right.
Even until my generation, like, at the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
it's connected. This word remote is connected to it. So in the same way, a remote worker is someone who works far away from the office. They're not working in the office where most people are doing, the meetings and all of that. They could be on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
But the home office could be in New York City.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, and that's the idea of being a remote worker. So Jasmine says it's an up-and-coming visa. So the digital nomad visa is an up-and-coming visa. So actually, this visa was not around before.
Right.
But countries are making a new visa.
Right.
So what is this up-and-coming?
So the word up-and-coming means it is becoming popular.
Yes.
It is not popular yet, but it looks like it will become popular or it will become successful in the near future.
Okay.
So this visa, it's basically saying more and more countries are creating these digital nomad visas.
Yes.
It's still a small number right now.
Yeah.
But in the near future, it looks like many countries will have this type of visa.
More and more. Okay. So when Jasmine says, what visa are you on? It means what visa do you have?
Yes.
And what does Marco say?
I moved here when I was 55, so I've been here 5 years on a retirement visa.
Here's another kind of visa. There is such a thing as a retirement visa in many places in Europe.
Yes.
So a lot of Americans actually move to Europe. If you have some indication or some proof of income, they'll give you a visa.
Yeah, if you can prove you get your national pension.
Right.
Or even if you just show that you have this amount of wealth and you're making, stocks or whatever.
Yeah.
And you are at the right age, many countries will give you a retirement visa.
That's right. Okay. Jasmine says, I heard you're allowed to have odd jobs with a retirement visa.
Yes.
Okay, so we just talked about retirement visa. That's our power vocab. But what are odd jobs? So people who are retired can have odd jobs.
Yes.
They can work?
They can work.
Okay.
But they can't, work in a company.
Yeah.
Going into the office every day, like a full-time job.
Yeah.
An odd job would be something like being someone's gardener.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're teaching English on the weekends.
Right.
Or maybe you cut people's hair part-time.
Okay.
Like you're doing small things, but you're not like an official working everyday employee.
Yes, right. That is what would be considered odd jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even if you're like a part-time worker in a coffee shop, I don't think that would be an odd job.
Yes.
It feels too official. You're in an official business.
Right.
It would be like you go to someone's house to do the job.
Right.
Or they come to your house to do the job.
It's almost like you're kind of a part-time freelancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
Have you decided which visa to apply for?
Well, I've narrowed it down to the normal residence visa and the digital nomad visa.
I've never heard of the digital nomad visa. What is it?
It's an up-and-coming visa that a lot of countries are introducing to allow remote workers to stay longer. What visa are you here on?
I moved here when I was 55, so I've been here 5 years on a retirement visa.
I heard you're allowed to have odd jobs with the retirement visa.
All right, it's time for Power Pattern. We're on pages 58 and 59. Narrow something down. It means that you've got all these possibilities and all these choices, and you're going to select just a few.
Yeah.
Reduce the choices. Where are you going for vacation?
I've narrowed it down to either Italy, Greece, or Portugal. Also somewhere in the Mediterranean.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to Northern Europe, not
Yeah.
not going to Asia or South America or Africa.
That sounds really nice, the
Yeah.
Mediterranean. Joanne narrowed her color choices down to gray or blue for her living room. So interior decorating, what kind of colors do you want for your living room or your bedroom? So many choices, so many colors.
Yes. So you can do something light, like where you're going to have vacation, or what color you're going to paint your room. Or it could be something like narrowing down candidates for a job position. Or narrowing down which house you're going to buy.
Oh, yeah.
Or narrowing down who you're going to marry. Maybe you're really popular.
There's 5 guys that want to marry you.
Yeah, and so you can...
Well, lucky girl. Wow, you're popular.
You just have to choose.
Oh,
You got to
boy.
narrow it down to 2.
I tell you, though, Cameron, if you have too many choices, you can't make any choice.
What is that called? The paradox of choice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the paradox is where you think it's good, but
To
it's
have-
actually bad.
Yeah.
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 When you have too many choices, it makes it harder to make a choice.
So true.
So you have to narrow the choices down. So that's much easier.
That's right.
Go to an American supermarket where there's 500,000 types of soup you can buy.
Or cereal.
It's just or potato chips. It's just so stressful
It's true.
choosing which one you want.
It's like a Korean, you know how we have these warehouse
The big
places,
warehouse
the
things.
big warehouses in Korea. Well, in America, like a supermarket is like a warehouse.
Yeah.
That's the size.
But I mean, even in a Korean supermarket, there's so many types of ramyeon.
Oh, that is true.
It's really hard to choose sometimes.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
hard to narrow it down.
that's right. Okay. Up and coming is, it's not really successful. It's not right now, but it's going to happen soon.
Yes.
Okay. Who is that new guy?
That's Tim. He's an up-and-coming salesman from London.
So if he is an up-and-coming salesman, what kind of salesman is he?
He is not a complete beginner.
Yeah.
He's kind of being promoted quickly.
Yeah.
He's been very successful even though he's young
Yeah.
or even though he's new. And everyone can see, oh, he's going to be really big someday.
Right. The Warhawks were an up-and-coming soccer team.
Yes. So the Warhawks, maybe they're a new team.
Yeah.
They were just created, and so they're very quickly proving that they are good in the soccer league that they're in.
That's right.
Right.
Let me tell you about Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Everybody knows Tom Cruise.
I'm not familiar.
You're not?
Tom who?
He's very handsome.
Yes.
Kind of short.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so he is a full-on movie star, right?
Yes.
But there was a movie called The Outsiders.
Yeah.
This is back in the 80s, based on a novel. And there were all these big actors like Patrick Swayze, but at that time Tom Cruise was not established.
Right.
At that time they called him up and coming because he was so good and so laser focused, and they felt like, oh, he has the potential to become a big movie star.
Yes.
And that's what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So you often do hear this with like actors and actresses or singers.
Singers.
It's that moment when everyone in the music industry knows this person.
Oh, they're going to be big.
They're going to be big.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, my generation, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera,
right.
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, they were all really popular in the music industry right before they did their first albums. So everyone was like, these people are coming. These new singers are coming.
Oh, they're up
going
and
to be
coming.
a huge hit.
Oh, yeah.
They're up and coming.
Up and coming.
And of course, in their first albums, boom, they were all so popular.
That's right. I guess you could say that we're kind of up and coming. Can we say that?
I don't know.
We're already
We're
kind
really
of established.
No, but I think we are always going up and up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We are not up and coming. We are already here.
We have arrived.
We have arrived. Yes. Okay. Odd jobs are very kind of small, practical things, tasks. Yes. What kind of work did you do before you started your business?
I did mostly odd jobs in the home renovation field.
Okay. Maybe you painted. Maybe you made tables. Maybe you did plumbing. You know, these are odd jobs. As a kid, I was always doing odd jobs for my neighbors.
Yeah.
Mowing the lawn.
Looking after the kids.
Yeah, raking the leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are odd jobs. Okay, I've never heard of is our power pattern, which is saying, oh, I didn't know that. Tell me more.
Yes.
Okay. I've never heard of that band. What do they play?
I've never heard of celery soup. Is it good?
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Tell me more. Is it, I want to know more.
Yes.
Okay. Our power vocab today is retirement visa, and some countries do offer retirement visas. Do check out the definition on page 60, and let's thank our sponsors.